Jake, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Please introduce yourself and give us a quick rundown of who you are.
My name's Jake Carruthers, and to put it simply, I'm an artist who sold all my stuff in Canada to try and become an artist here in Paradise.
That's a great start. Excellent. I kind of did the same thing. I sold everything and moved down with just enough money to buy a crappy car and give it a go. Tell us what style of art and what you're all about, like what's your core things you're working on, and just give us like the 30,000 foot overview of who you are.
Yeah, so primarily I'm an illustrator. I went to school for illustration. I worked in the music industry now for over 10 years, creating album artwork and t-shirts and things like that with a lot of my favorite bands. Cool. I've had a lot of experience with art direction, brand building, things like that. But recently I've decided to just follow my heart and create only things that I care about. And so I've also created a fine art collection of surrealist pieces, several collections now, but I'm doing a lot of pen and ink on wood panel, and I'm using themes of consciousness and vibration.
Nice. So is it safe to say you're living your dream?
I am dreaming for sure, but I want to go deeper.
Interesting. So Nosara makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, absolutely. This place is definitely outside of any of my known realms, so I'm happy to be here in the mode to create, and
Gotcha.
to be inspired and learn new things and just be in the water. I am originally from Toronto, and my life has been pretty much just like a one-track to creating a thesis as an artist, really. So I've reconsidered what that is several times. I've worked a few different jobs, some more corporate than others, but I've never stopped trying to make being an artist work.
So your theme as your thesis, arts inside of this and creations inside of this.
Yes, yeah.
Like of anything you do, it sounds like.
Yeah, 100%.
Whether that's, I'm guessing you've been involved in music, art, painting. You have a lot of tattoos. You're a tattoo artist.
Yes, yeah.
I've seen some of your drawings too. Like you are precise, man. So this is truly your life.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my mom was an art teacher. So when I grew up, we didn't have too much money originally, and we were just like driving around a lot. Like we would go camping, and we would always be driving to another family member's house or somewhere to stay with other family. And during that time on the road with my mom, she always had drawing supplies. So like, in the back seat, she would give me like a pad of paper and some crayons and say, draw what you did today, and I must have been 3 years old.
Nice.
And so from that point until now, I just never stopped. In public school, in high school, in university, it's just been art all the way through. I went to OCAD in Toronto, which is the Ontario College of Art and Design University, and I went for quite a long time, eventually I started working as an art director at an agency downtown. But
is that your version of going corporate?
Yes, yeah. It was, I needed a job.
I'm predicting the story right now. You needed a job to pay your bills and get some normalcy in life, but it didn't hit your heart. Then you got crazy, grew up and moved to Nosara.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
This place has a net, man. Did you come here and visit and then it hit you and you came back? Or did you just say out of nowhere, Nosara, I'm going there?
Well, when the pandemic started, I was working at the agency, and there was some trouble with the funds for the agency in general, and the whole world kind of ended.
So that was your escape route?
Yeah, I was like, what am I doing? Working for somebody else. I really believed in what we were doing, but I'm like, I can't burn my wheels out forever. Eventually I'm going to have to create something for myself, and I've always been interested in telling stories. So I've been creating intellectual property over the last long time, and slowly I've been putting together these projects, and I've got funding for a few of them. But basically, I want to be a cartoonist. So I've been writing a lot of stories, creating cartoon characters and plot lines, and I put the wheels into action pretty intensely. So we're creating the pilot still right now with a bit of funding that we got.
How far away are you from that coming out?
Probably a couple months.
Okay, so it's getting closer.
It's getting much closer. I've taken a step back from giving timelines right now because I'm involved with so many other things, and the crypto market was pretty volatile, and I made a lot of the funding for the show off of an NFT project that I did, and so together we've all been kind of panicking. And
so artists are getting caught up in the craziness of the world and everything, just like the rest of us. It sounds like.
Absolutely, and to, not to get too sidetracked, I started this cartoon company at the beginning of the pandemic, and so I was already looking for the next chapter, and looking to end my relationship that I had with Toronto. I needed some time away from it, and like my family's there, and that's a big reason why I return when I do. But my girlfriend, Katya, she came here by herself with some friends, and she was staying here for a while, and she came back to Toronto, and she was staying with me, and then it was time for her to go back to Costa Rica. And when she did, I was like, I'm starting this company, like I can't do much. But when she left, it was going to be her birthday, and I was like, what do you think if I came to see you for your birthday? I'd never been here before, so I booked out a 3-week trip to come here and then come back, and I came here, and within like 5 days, I was like, why would I leave? Why would I go home? I couldn't justify it to myself.
So she's here now, you're here now.
Yeah.
What are you guys up to now? Like what's, walk us through just your projects and what you want people to know. To anyone listening, what's your primary focus right now? Is there any big shout outs or anyone helping you? Just walk us through your existence.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, we've been fortunate enough to be a part of an artist residency. Cool. It's at a place called Nido Creativo.
Oh, nice, in Pilata.
In Pilata, exactly. Yeah, and it's being, it's Aprimendos is involved with it, a charity, and I've just been happy to be a part of an actual artist community.
You enjoying it?
Yeah, it's a new experience for me. It's my first residency, and it's been incredible to share a space with other artists from all over the world.
Well, shout out to those guys for getting you in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what else are you working along the way? She's a creative as well?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so she works for a big company as their design lead in Canada as well. So she's been able to work remotely, and we've been traveling together for the last year and a half since I originally came here. So, and we had traveled before, but Nosara has really been home for us for the last over a year now.
Does your family think you're crazy?
I mean, they thought I was crazy before that, but I think this actually makes sense to them. They're like, he needs to be in the trees. Yeah. So it's awesome. I'm trying to convince them to not be so scared of the bugs. We went to the Dominican together. We've done a lot of stuff like that. They love to travel as well.
So they'll make it. Maybe they'll come in May.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to find more permanent ways of being involved here in Nosara and just doing more now. And so I heard about this artist residency through a friend who was staying there. And so I eventually kind of built a relationship with a few of the other artists in town and was invited to stay at the residency for this month.
Awesome. Is there any shout outs or any people you're close to?
I'd like to thank Jacqueline West and those others involved for having us there. It's been really cool to be a part of something like that. I think it's really important to have something that is inclusive, to have an offering. There are other organizations who offer creative resources and offer community, but there's often a price tag associated with it. And so a lot of people can't really access these programs, and it kind of limits the type of people who are involved with them. And so I think that it's really important that there is some inclusivity in a place as magic as Nosara, a place where you can go as an artist and feel like you can contribute to the greater creative ethos of what's happening around us. We work with Costa Rican artists a lot as well, so it's like a nice way of meeting creatives who have already been here.
Got it. So everyone's welcome.
Yeah.
Whatever nationality, color, creed, weight, height, or anything. It's just that everyone's
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
And it's wonderful. I love being able to see them as they come in too. There's a gentleman named Tan from the UK staying with us. My friend Federico is staying with us.
So you got a ton of stuff going on. What active projects do you have like right now, or is there anything that you have popping that's coming soon?
Yeah, for sure. This coming Friday, our residency is actually going to be throwing an art show and an art event where we're going to have like a collaborative art piece. I'm going to be doing a live painting, and I'm also going to be showcasing my collection, We Are Animals.
Nice, nice. Where's it at? What time?
It's going to be in Pilata from 7 till 10
Okay.
at Nido Creativo.
Nito Creativo.
Yeah, it's a creative nest in English, and it's one of the first buildings off the main road in Pilata by the Jellyfish House, actually. But I'm very excited. The collection that I'm showing is called We Are Animals, and it's about humans' place within the environment, as animals, as humans, fighting for our place in this earth, marching along as the ants do in all of our homes this time of year. So I just want to draw a lot of comparisons to the people I've met, the animals I've seen, and how they interact with
That's
each
a
other.
good theme for here, man. That's really cool because we're all trying to find our place. The animals are trying to find their place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so after the show, though, what do you start working on next?
Well, right now I have a couple of other projects that I'm working on in kind of a bigger sense. I typically work within the music industry, is kind of how I get my bread and butter. I do a lot of merchandise designs, album covers, and I've done like lyric videos, music videos, that kind of thing, all illustrated. But after working for bands and companies and all of that for so long, similar, to my exodus from the corporate world, as it were, I would like to start telling my own stories. And so last year there was a huge boom with NFTs, and everyone's telling me I have to get involved with it. So I put together a project called Saint Levi. And Saint Levi is my cartoon character. And he's the main character of a couple of different properties. But the show that we're creating is called Tales from the Third Eye. And so I've been working on that extensively every single day. I stay up, I work on it, and I'm working very hard to produce the entire thing. So I have a couple of animators working with me, some audio people, but the goal is to tell stories of spirituality and existentialism through a non-biased lens, in a really funny kind of way. And
It's hard to get a non-biased lens on those.
it is.
Generally,
yeah.
you find, especially in Nostar, you find somebody very pro or very anti.
Yeah, it's and I find it's hard to take, as we were talking about before, a polarized stance. As soon as you mention exactly how you feel about something, as the Tao says, you're leaving room for its opposite. So you can kind of be the one to start your own demise.
Nostar has a way of fast forwarding that,
Yeah.
or slowing it down, depending on where you're at in the spectrum.
Yeah.
It's a small town, so you have that old phrase, small town, big hell. It's
Yeah.
very real. The amount of misinformation that flows through what I call the Nostar gossip machine is very taxing, and it's a real pain in the butt if you want to have a foot in each world.
Yeah.
Now, if you jump to whatever the polarizing stance is and kind of roll with that crowd, that's fine. Like, for example,
Yeah.
you might have anti-development. Let's talk about that with all the construction noise we're
Yeah.
listening to right now.
No.
This all comes in on cue.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
development is a sensitive subject. Some people will jump to, oh, the builders, the architects, the realtors, they're all evil. This place, they're ruining the place. Stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
One of my good friends says that all the time.
Yeah.
They shouldn't say that because people are doing something that's legal. You're not going to be able to stop it. So just yelling to stop, it's not going to bring any solutions.
Yeah.
However, if you go to the people properly in the right way and make it cool and you make it interesting and hip and fresh for people to do this, it becomes
Yeah.
part of the process. Oh, you're coming to Nostar? Great, welcome.
Yeah.
Glad that you're here. I'm here too. And then get involved.
Yeah.
So that's what we need from the people coming in. Like you came in, you reached out to me, said, I want to get involved. I want to share what I'm doing. Love it. That's the type of resident that we need. What we don't need is somebody who comes in and thinks that everything just comes, like the name a subject, the
Yeah.
trash, the bomberos, just everything. We have very few municipal services. We just got a trash truck recently.
Well, I know. I guess we're technically part of Nicoya's jurisdiction, and
Yes.
they just kind of leave us on the beach and forget to do a lot.
Let's just say that it hasn't always been a cohesive relationship. The
Yeah.
good news is we're getting along with Nicoya right now better than we ever have before.
Amazing.
That part's nice. The bad news is it's still way over there and we're in two different worlds from each other. And also, I don't think Nosara was supposed to be the popular place.
No,
Like,
yeah.
Samara makes more sense. All the roads are right there. It's easier to get to.
Yeah.
People just like this place for whatever reason. Hey, on that note, a cartoon about the Nosara vortex might be interesting. We have a lot of people here who are convinced there's some sort of vortex or something. We've even done some episodes about it. A cartoon of that might be fun. I'd love to get cartoons of like Beverly Kitson, Bobby Johnson, Cheeky, who recently passed away, rest in peace. If you ever get into that, or if you ever want to give back, that would spread around here if people could see like legendary figures telling some of their stories.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. It's actually really funny too that you mentioned the vortex, because when I first arrived here, it was something that I kept saying. I said that I felt like there was a vortex here, like time.
Are you kidding?
No, it was just something like in the word vortex, and I was telling everyone, I was like, it's like time stops, and we're outside of the rest of the world. Like there's a portal, and when you're here, we're in Nosara. We're not even in Earth anymore, you know. And
Maybe that's your next series.
yeah, well, when I explained this, though, I mean, other people kept talking about it. My girlfriend was saying it, and other people are like, yeah, I mean, I've heard other people say that too. And then I was watching some episodes of this show actually, and I heard a woman speaking about the vortex, and I heard the word vortex, and I was like, what? The other people know about this? Like, this is a real. I thought it was just in my head, you know. So I think
Since I
definitely
got here, I've heard about it, and I thought it was a joke, and they were just messing with me. And then I started hearing it from all different types of people. And then after living here a while, I was like, wait, this place is weird.
Yeah.
Like weird. But when people get here, like, it's sticky. It's the stickiest place I've ever seen on the planet. Like,
yeah, you just. I mean, it's a filter, right? Some people will bounce right off of it.
oh, big time.
You know?
I'm not saying it's for everyone. I'm
Yeah,
saying for the
yeah.
people it clicks for,
Yeah, it's hard to leave.
they keep coming back. Like people who travel around the world, they go somewhere different every year. They'll come here, then they keep coming back. That's how I meet a lot of friends and clients.
Yeah, well,
But I've never understood it. And then the vortex thing, I went from thinking it was a comical joke into being like, well, geez, man, maybe there's something there.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if this is the exact fact, but something like 5% of the world's biodiversity is supposed to be in Costa Rica. You know, it's like, you know, we're right in the peninsula, and like such a small little dot. Like, there must be something, you know, with a body of water on either side so big to.
Our conspiracy guy, Arik, who comes on, he talks about how like the whales have a unique meeting spot here, and he's saying that there's something to there. He's convinced, as there's so many other people. Moving out, so let me jump over into just Nosara level stuff.
Yeah.
I get what you like. Most of us like a lot of the same things around here. I want to hear what you dislike. Like, what are your challenges? You're a year and a half in-ish. Fill me in on what your challenges are at this stage in your Nosara journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first thing I noticed, you know, about the people here is that there are cliques. You know, there are people who they got here at one point and they think that they're the OGs, and then there's like a group of people 5 years younger than them that think they're the OGs, and it just goes all the way down to teenagers.
So you're telling me it's like high school?
It's exactly like high school. Yeah.
I hated high school, man.
Yeah, me too. It's strange. It's like a lot of the reasons why I came here were to avoid that sort of thing, you know. And of course, it's inevitable. You put so many people in a small place, it's bound to start happening. But
So that's a pretty good one. I've been laughing the whole time you've been talking. Well, what else?
But I have a hard time with it because I like to think of myself as a pretty kind person. You know, I'm very willing to listen to people's stories, willing to understand no matter who they are, you know, and I've always been very inclusive with the things that I do. And so to be here and not really feel that reciprocated everywhere, I'm not going to say that I hate it, but it is interesting, especially because the people who seem to be more recluse and less inviting are people who are, you know, they're tourists as well, or they're, you know, they've only lived here for 5-10 years. And I think it's beautiful that people have been able to contribute to what this is, but I think they're also losing sight of the reason why people come here in the first place, you know, and they must not be happy either. You know, that's the way that I look. I'm like, if you chilled out, you could probably enjoy your time here a little bit more between these palm trees and the ocean. You know, there's not really a lot to complain about. But
Gotcha. So if you get involved, be kind, get involved and become a part of it, as opposed to sitting back away from it, being grumpy about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a pretty good message.
And I think, you know, we were talking about realty and finding one's place within the town, and
most of it's sold now, so it's getting
yeah,
pretty tough.
yeah, it's going to be difficult to find a spot. Exactly.
Or it's hard to get. Rentals is the thing that bothers me the most. It always has. Like, we're so devoid of long-term rentals, and we have several schools here. And now that Nosara has become popular, people with money are learning about it. And people coming from Manhattan, living in a tiny apartment that costs a bunch of money, they think our prices are pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you have someone like me who's been here. Heck, I thought Nosara was too expensive in 2002.
Yeah.
It's so funny what I do for a job. But rentals really is troublesome. Like, that's a tough one.
And definitely, and that's why I'm trying to find a more permanent solution to like how I'm going to continue my journey in Nosara. You know, so right now the residency has been a beautiful chapter. We've stayed all over town. You know, we've been in Nosara Springs and North Guiones and Central and Pilata twice now. It's just every time we go somewhere and we come back, we have to find a new place to live, and it's every time we come back, it's more expensive. And so, you know, I'm trying to find a way to stay here. This is the reason why I ran away. But I think that the world itself is coming to a conclusion. You know, like at least of this chapter. Like people are like, in terms of capitalism, there's only so much, like, as you said, you can sell. You know, at a certain point, people just can't afford to be alive. You know, and we already did it in most of our city centers, and same thing's happening here with just a handful of people. You know, so it must be deep in our psychology to take. But I think that that's a defense mechanism in general, and I think that developers and people moving into this town that think that they need to keep a rigid elbow out, you know, don't realize that they could actually have more room to walk around and to enjoy this space and to create what they want to create if they were more inclusive. You know, if they work together with other developers, with other humans. Like that's why we're here. That's why we're in Central America, in a beach town.
It would be interesting. We have some social scientists who came through town who are about to come back, who studied the whole area. They surveyed, they talked to everyone, and I'm not doing it all justice through my explanation here, but their research found that the town basically gets along, but it's so polarized between our cliques, as you described earlier, that people aren't willing to pull down those guards, and that could spell doom to a community. So I was just talking to Dr. Salas yesterday, and what he told me was communities that make it, that can turn into like a model type community, which is what we want for Nosara. We want a sustainable development plan. Even everyone in that business still wants that for the most part. There's a couple bad people, but the reality is most of the people, even in these industries, want this place to stay special. Otherwise it loses value and it loses the essence of what it is. So fast forwarding through it, what he told me was communities need to have some government involvement to help support some of the right things. They need the nonprofits and the giving back and the neighborhood organizations, the community organizations, to cooperate, at least some. And then it needs local leaders to cooperate, at least some. They said if they can get those three things, Nosara can turn into the model community. But if we don't get those three things, it's very, very difficult. That's my understanding of his message. And what he said, what's throwing them for such a loop, Nosara doesn't have any. Our community organizations don't do a good job of communicating historically. They're starting to, thank God. But we have very polarizing community organizations that take their stance, and this one takes that stance, and then that stance. Then over time, guards go up. Same thing with community leaders. We have several really good community leaders here right now. However, if they're in fights with the other community leader and then that person doesn't like that person, it's like your birthday story. You wanted to go on your birthday, but different people know each other from the small town. So next thing you know, people who you were friends with separately, you can't hang out together and you never knew it. That's this town. It's a beautiful analogy. So, and then we also need government involvement, and our government's in Nicoya. So historically, it hasn't been great. Good news is Nicoya is doing better than it ever has. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's better than it's ever been, that I'm aware of. Community organizations need to fast forward this, and the community leaders, all of us, myself included, all of us, we need to work on the walls between us, because the reality is everyone wants to keep Nosara special. Everyone's a big word. I don't like absolutes. Almost everyone wants to keep Nosara special. And I don't know how we're going to do it, but I hope that we can pull it off.
I think that the main ingredient that it requires is compassion. This is a place that is supposed to be for love, you know, with the at risk of sounding entirely hippie, it's the frequency that this place runs off of. You know, not just Nosara, but Earth.
I'm glad you
in
feel that
general.
way. Now we're getting all positive again.
Yeah.
We were in negatives.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Let's jump to this. What are your 3 favorite restaurants in the area? What do you like to get there?
Oh, that's amazing. My 3 favorite restaurants in the area really depends on what it is for.
Well, you have 3 to choose from.
I would be, yeah, exactly. I mean, I would be remiss if I missed a birthday at Coyol. I think that's my favorite, but it's at the top of the mountain there. Is a little hard to go casually.
It's not next door.
Yeah.
What do you like to get there?
But I love their the pulled ribs.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Coyol?
they're amazing. At
All right,
Coyol,
what's next on the list?
I gotta shout out La Brasa. La Brasa is incredible. Yeah, Max and them make amazing steaks. And they started off with just a little truck, and so like to go there and see a 2-story restaurant with live music and dancing is it's quite incredible. You know, I love the atmosphere there. And also I got to shout out my boys at DSP's. DSP is a classic stop by chicken wing place. And
What do you like there?
Oh, their chicken wings for sure.
The buffalo chicken sandwich is pretty good.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I haven't tried their sandwiches. Unfortunately, I'm so obsessive that when I find something I like, I will get it 100 times. So I have been there countless times, but I always get either the poke or the chicken wings.
Nice.
But I'm talking to them right now about designing a T-shirt for them as well. So
Cool.
I'm just trying to get involved with the community on a couple of different levels, you know. So I'm very excited. They're so great there, and I can't wait to eat more chicken wings.
Nice. All right, man. Any last words while you have this platform you'd like to get out there for anyone back home or here, or it's yours. Get it off your chest.
Oh, damn. I don't know. I guess I'll say to always work from a place of love and never listen to anyone other than your own heart. And that's it. No matter how difficult.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.